everyone, it's Shel from Paper Octio Studio, and today I'm sharing with you my mermaid for October. I belong to a group called 12 Months of Mermaids, and we're supposed to make one every month. I think I accidentally forgot to make one last month. I'm not sure. But anyway, this is for October, and if I didn't make a September one, I guess I'll go back and do it. Um, I'm starting out with 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'm using the smooth side, although it's still, quite rough. It's still the smooth side. This is a heavy stock. 140 pound is quite heavy and thick. And I'm making a pencil drawing using my 2B graphite in my drafting pencil. And this is a soft graphite, makes it easy for me to draw quickly. I just like it. I like mechanical pencils for drawing. So I decided that since it's fall and the predominant colors right now are the oranges and the reds and colors like that, that I would make a mermaid as a koi fish, because then I could use the orange. So it's going to end up being oranges, greens, and blues, because the lily pads are green, of course. I mean, lily pads, I've never seen a lily pad in any other color. So kind of blue water, green lily pads, orange tail. And that was kind of my idea for why I made it into a koi fish mermaid instead of a regular mermaid that goes in the sea. So I imagine this one just, hangs out with the frogs and lays around on lily pads looking cute. That's what I figure. So for those of you who have trouble watching things sped up, I suggest that you do turn off the sound and slow this down to half speed, because in order to get it into 20 minutes, I did speed parts of it up quite fast, like 16 times fast. So in parts, it's going to be quite quick. But I try to leave the drawing part in, even though to me that's the boring part. I try to leave that in there so that you guys can see that I did actually draw this image. It's not something that I got somewhere. I drew it. And people seem to like to watch me draw for some reason, so I leave that in, but I do speed it up. I did cut out the inking. I just drew it. You watched me draw it. Why would you need to watch me ink it? So I trimmed a part of that out, but I still struggle with the shapes of bodies. I don't have that down yet exactly, so I do have a lot of erasing and reconfiguring and erasing going on, but that's just how I draw. I just keep fussing until I'm somewhat satisfied with it. So that is what I'm doing. I wanted to make some interesting hair, so she's got a lot of little weird curly cues in her hair, which then inspired me to go back and add curly cues on the fins and stuff like that. So my hair, not perfect either. I don't know. Just I'm sure that there's other ways to do it, and I'm learning just like everyone is. We just keep practicing until we are happy with what we come up with. And that is, something I would like to tell people. I get a lot of comments, oh, I wished I could draw like you. You know what? My drawing isn't that good. And I have seen a marked improvement. If you go back to my beginning videos, which were about this month is 1 year anniversary of this channel. You go back and look at my earlier videos. I have improved in drawing a ton, and that's because I do it. Because I just keep doing it until I'm somewhat satisfied with what I get. I'm never completely satisfied because I'm fussy, and there's always something that I wish that was better. And that's why I continue to learn and grow, because I'm not satisfied. Once I become satisfied, then I'll become complacent. And I guess at that point, I will stop getting better, I guess, because I'll stop learning. I don't know. So my concept was I was going to watercolor this, but I thought to myself, you know what? I haven't got out the pan pastels in a while, and I think I'm gonna play with them. I have lots of colors that I got for Christmas from my mom and my friend. I have the tools. I've got everything I need, so I'm gonna get those puppies out and play with them. Of course, they're in a drawer, and that's the reason. You know, they're not like right in front of my face, so I don't see them all the time. So I kind of forget because they're in a big drawer that hides them from view. So I have purchased these little I think there's 10 spot um, tray things, and then I've put my colors together like this. The one on the left is the neutrals, and then the one on the right is my blue purple cool colors, and then I have a warm reds and oranges, yellows, and then I have something else. Anyway, I have 4 sets of these. So this is 2 of the the groupings, the portrait one and the painting one. I think those there was I bought my well I didn't buy them. Friends bought me 2 sets that must have had 20 in them, I guess. And so I did have a few duplicates like white and black. Um, but that worked out pretty well rather than buying them as individual little pots. I got them as sets, and that got me a lot of colors quickly. And of course, these are your classic artist colors, and you can blend if you want to make them different colors. So I probably won't ever need any more than what I already have. And then I have some of these plastic tools with different tips, and I have a few of these other tools that are wedges or things like that. See, there's my greens and yellows. I guess I have greens and yellows, and then I have another one that's reds and oranges. I guess is how it's playing out. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I sorted them by color. That's what I'm trying to say. And then these little plastic things have lids that snap down onto them to keep everything safe and secure. And my only problem is that my desk is not big enough. I would like to lay them all out, but it's not big enough, so I have to stack them one on top of another and then put the other ones on the floor next to me because my space isn't big enough. So a nice thing about the pastels is you can erase them. So like in that case, I used a sponge tool thing that had a different color on it, and it made like a red smear there, and I just erased it with a white eraser. I also have this other little eraser that's like inside of a pen type thing that you click it and it clicks open. And so in these little areas where like the curls in the hair and the curls at the end of the fins and things like that, when I'm getting pastel on that area, I'm just going back and erasing it. So that way I'm keeping it fairly clean, so that I don't get a lot of color mixing in places that I don't want. And that makes me pretty happy. This was actually very easy to use and fun, and I felt like I could blend colors. The pan pastels are a soft pastel, so they do need a paper that has a tooth, meaning a bumpy paper, so that there's something to catch, something for the powder to catch in. But they are extremely pigmented. They have a ton of pigment. So easy to use and fun. I probably will never need to buy any more. I think that these will last forever. I can't imagine that I would ever use it up unless I became like a full-time pastel artist and that's all I did. I think they're a good value. At first they seemed expensive, but I think that they're a good value for how much you get, and pretty darn fun. So she is a spotted koi, so I'm making like the orange spots and then the lighter areas where it's like mostly just white. And so that blends into her skin pretty well. Sorry, I had to yawn. And then when I needed the highlights on the skin, I just used that little white eraser and erased highlights. It worked out really well. That eraser was a gift from the eraser fairy, also known as Eva LeVay Arts. I said in my videos, one video or 2 videos a while back, that I needed an eraser fairy because my eraser was really getting gross and dirty and I needed a new one. And Then the next time she sent me a package, there was a package of a kneaded eraser, a white eraser, and another eraser in there in a little 3-pack, which was very sweet. She's very sweet. So I'm using the orange and then this like kind of reddish rusty color to fill in and make a little bit of depth on the spots, and then I'm going in and like cleaning up to add a highlight in the center part with my eraser, and I'm very happy with how the eraser works on there. I don't know if I'll have to clean it. It doesn't seem to be making it dirty, so I don't know. I don't know. So I'm still trying to decide which tool I like best. These tools are, uh, they look like sponge, but it's actually kind of like a high density foam. And I came in the kit, the little plastic knife things, and then some extra sleeves that go on them. And there's a flat square one, there's a rounded one, there's a pointed one, and then there's one that kind of looks like an eyeshadow, um, the shape of maybe a teardrop or something. It's narrow and then wider and then more narrow at the end. And so I'm just like using different ones, and then I use the one that was like kind of like a wedge shape to fill in the background. I have some other bigger ones that are for filling in backgrounds that I haven't even used. I think I'm mostly using these little ones that are little on these little knife things, and that seems to work pretty good. And for these real tiny things, this pointy one, which I hadn't used before, works really great. I can get the color in very small spaces with that one. So I also have some stuff called Spectra Fix, which is a sealant for pastels, and it's not stinky or what do I want to say? It's not bad for you. Like what am I trying to say? Caustic? No, I don't know. Anyway, I can spray it in my studio. I don't have to take it outside. So I'm just intermittently, you'll see me squirting a little bit of it on there. Like after I put the blue on, I squirted it. Then I put all the green on and I squirted it. And then that's helping with me dragging my hand across the paper. It's not smearing the pastel, which has happened in the past. It's a workable fixative. That's what it's called, a workable fixative, and it's called Spectra Fix. And I got it on Amazon. Of course, I'll be putting all the links and descriptions of the products that I used in the description box below, where there's that box and then it says see more. You can click it open and it opens into a whole bunch of stuff. That information will be there for you guys so that you don't have to ask me what products I used. I won't list all the colors because I'm just telling you right now it was 2 pastel kits. So whatever colors are in those, that's what I got. And they have the long borings like raw sienna and cadmium orange hue and things like that. They're the artist pigment colors. So that little eraser pen thing is coming in really handy because it's got a teeny tiny eraser on it, which I can erase little areas like inside of her eyeballs where I got, it should have been more white, and I got some of the pastel on there, so it just all blended in so that I could go erase. I don't know. That's working great. Working great. Don't know what else to say about that. I did go in and like freehand a bunch of little leaves underneath the lily pads in the green, just by using a couple colors of green right over the blue. I don't know if you guys, I know you guys saw that, but I didn't mention it. It wasn't in the original drawing. It was just, I just felt like it needed to be filled in to make it look more like a pond. It needed to be filled in, so I've just put more leaves and vegetation around underneath and beside the lily pads. Then I'm using this really tiny pointy one again to fill in the spaces of her hair. trying to give it a lot of dimension by adding different colors. A deeper color underneath, and then a medium color, and then I'm going to add a lighter color on all the little curlicue things. I thought it turned out pretty cute. Different. Kind of different. If you guys are enjoying this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment so I know you were here, subscribe if you haven't already, and share if you want to. I'll be sharing this one on my regular Facebook plus the 12 Months of Mermaids on Facebook and on Instagram and of course YouTube and G+ communities. So that's where I share. So now the next step, I'm using my white Posca pen, this is the fine tip, to go in over the pastel and add highlights. The reason I'm doing this is I feel that I have control over the pen, and it's opaque, so it will write over the top of this very easily. So this is when we're getting into mixed media. Because mixed media just means you've mixed up medias. And so now I'm using an acrylic pen over the top of a pen pastel on a watercolor paper that I used India ink and graphite on. So see, these are all mixed. That's why it's called mixed media. And I think that confuses some people. But there was a few of the lines that got covered up by white pastel that were kind of bothering me. So then I'm getting my Inktense pencils out and adding those as well to add in some little areas of darker color. When you're trying to put pastel in teeny tiny areas like the little eyeball, it's hard to control because the best tool I have is that little pointy one, and it's not pointy enough to get into the teeny tiny places. So that's when the pencils come in handy. And then I do end up using them as actual watercolor pencils later. So this is mixed media, although it looks basically like a coloring page. I did use many different media on it. Now I'm putting in scales over the orange areas because they don't show up on the white areas. I go over the white areas a little bit, but they just basically don't show up. So I'm adding highlights on the fins, and then I'm putting in little scales because koi fish have little scales all over their body. So I thought that would make it look more, I don't want to say realistic because this isn't realistic. There's no koi mermaids. I mean, maybe there is, but I've never seen one. I can't say there's not, but I would say it's pretty unlikely. So then this is where I get out the pencil. There was parts that went a little bit out of the lines around her hair, and it was bothering me. And I tried to erase it, and I guess I had so many layers of fixative on there that it didn't erase very well. So I decided to camouflage them by going around with the blue pencil and then blending it out with a little bit of water. And I liked that so much that I ended up going around the rest of her body and the bottom of the lily pads. I think that's every place I put the blue pencil, but it gave like an extra halo of a watercolor effect around her body and made her stand out a little bit more from the background. So, oh, and then all the motion lines on the water too. I put it on that too. So that worked out pretty well. I thought that turned out pretty good. And I wouldn't have expected myself to use watercolor over the top of pan pastels. But I did, and it worked great. So, you know, we're always learning, we're always experimenting. If you aren't experimenting, then you've stopped learning. So just go ahead and do it. Just do it. Don't say that you can't. Just do it. That's what I say. And then my little water ripples, I went back in and added the white Posca again as a highlight, trying to make them look like water ripples as much as possible. So, because those other two little koi fish are swimming around and making ripples in the water. So I hope you guys have enjoyed my October Mermaid, and I think I'm pretty much done talking. Probably just a few more bits and bobs here. I know I added some splatters at the end because I just love splatters. So that's probably what's coming next. And then there will be your close-ups. And so you can really see what it looks like close up. And I think that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.